runs in my veins. Won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of them? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. King of the rise and fall. I come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take it. King of the rise and fall. I come to take it all. I'll take it all. Storms coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it. Our bones are going for it. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yeah. I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. I send the song to the highest hitter. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I'm still the last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's fact. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes.
All right, y'all, happy Thursday, January 29th. Welcome back to the show. Good evening, one and all. Tonight, we're going to mostly just do a Q&A about the AMC Q4 and full year 2025 earnings, preliminary results, and the debt restructuring announcement. I put out a pretty detailed tweet early this morning on X and on Discord about an hour before that, and on YouTube community tab with my high-level summary, and my plan was to do a video after the market closed today, but we had a doctor's appointment for the wife, and then she wanted to go to the grocery store, so I'm just getting back. I'll do the recap video tomorrow. And I thought maybe, hey, let's do some Q&A, see how you guys are feeling about this. And maybe that'll help me shape what I talk about in the morning on the recap video. Just so we're clear, in case this is your first time ever here, I was swing trading AMC. I was swing trading AMC in 2024. Did well in the beginning of the year. I had to exit at the end of 2024. You can see in the top left corner of your screen here, because my cash flow forecast told me that there was likely to be a share offering, which came not even 30 days later. So that forecast I made was correct. And then, of course, they ran out of shares and they're running low on cash, yada, yada, yada. We thought there'd be a vote and they'd ask for more shares. I thought that vote would happen in July, but they didn't schedule it till December. So I've just been sitting on my hands until, we're getting very close to decision time for me, because almost everything that I was worried about will be behind us. We're almost there, but there's still a couple things that I'm waiting on. And I've been publishing as best as I can for 14 months in Discord exactly what we thought was going to happen, and it has played out to a T. It's almost uncanny exactly how things have played out, like we have been forecasting based on reading the company filings, going through the debt documents, and not listening to any social media rah-rah cheerleading nonsense. Just apply a little bit of logic and common sense and do some cash flow forecasting. I do have a price target of where I think the stock price is headed to. I don't know if you guys probably don't want to hear it. Someone asked me in the comments earlier today, where do I think the price will be in a year? Maybe we'll get to that question in a bit. I'm just trying to do the general housekeeping so you guys know where I'm at. Why I have not held the stock. I've taken a ton of criticism, hate. He works for the short sellers, all this nonsense for the last 14 months. Not that I hate AMC. I saw over 100 movies last year. I'm an A-list member. I spend a lot of money there on food and entertainment, but I have a great hatred of watching my portfolio get withered away. And when my due diligence tells me that the stock price is likely to go down based on definitive factors I can see in the filings, I'm going to sit out until I feel like most of that risk is behind us. And perhaps I have an edge. Perhaps I have an edge for a positive swing trade, but we're not there yet for me. I see every day people saying, oh, I bought the dip. Thanks for the discount. Can't go lower. Absolutely, it can go lower. And all you're telling me with those rah-rah posts is you're not reading, or you're not applying any shred of common sense, in my opinion. Not to be mean, I'm just saying you got to separate emotion from your financial analysis. Nothing that is happening here is a mystery. Nothing that is happening here is a surprise. Anybody that is in my Discord, and I see a couple names here on the chat, can tell you we have been predicting exactly this for a long time. And not because I'm negative. I just read, think, use my logic to game out what is going to happen, and all the breadcrumbs are in the filings. Tonight, I'm going to have one beer. It's a Texas Brew by Real Ale Brewing Company, not sponsored, but this is a heavy Scottish ale. So hopefully I can keep things together as we're going through your questions. Let's keep this fun. Let's keep it friendly. I know things suck right now if you're holding AMC and it's at $1.37 and quite possibly headed lower. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that is Q2 is only 2 months away. All of my timeline, all of my DD, everything that I'm worried about, in my best guess, everything I'm worried about should be behind us by end of March, based on what I know now. So it's just getting through the suffering. And, I'm not here to sway anybody's decision about what you do. I don't short stocks. I prefer to bet on positive outcomes, but I gotta buy in at a point where I think I have a chance to make a positive outcome, and we're not there yet for me. Seasoned Curly says, is it likely to go bankrupt? I don't think so. That's not in my DD at all. AMC has lenders that are willing to work with it, as we saw in today's announcement from the company, to move maturities. And, as long as they can keep moving maturities of any debt further and further out, then, and the lenders are willing to work with them, there's no reason for them to file bankruptcy unless they just wanted to give up. And that would be a shame if they decided to give up fighting after fighting for 5 years. I haven't seen any communication from management that makes me think they want to give up. But, there's a price to be paid for restructuring debt. And the lenders extract that pound of flesh from AMC every time they do this. I know these people keep on telling you the interest rates are getting reduced. No, they are not. Interest rates are most certainly have not been getting reduced. They've been going up. The debt gets reduced. The interest rates are going up. And in fact, in Q4, in these preliminary results, we have the interest expense for Q4, $142 million. That is $24 million more than last quarter. Everybody else is telling you the interest payment was going to go down, right? You guys saw the rainbows and unicorn crowd. Tony, you're going to be wrong. You just don't understand. The interest expense is going to go down and we're going to save so much money. We got crushed here on interest expense. And we'll dig into the details of why when we get the audited Q4 results into February. I was expecting that it would stay flat. I forecast the interest expense. It's just something I started doing a quarter or two ago because so many people keep on putting out misinformation saying that it's going to go down. You can do basic math and estimate what it's going to be, but it was 109 in Q2. It was 119 in Q3, and I had estimated 118 for Q4. For some reason, 142. I had it basically flat, even with reduced debt. Are there one-time expenses in this? I know that's what people are going to say. It's one-time expenses. I don't think so. One-time expenses are not included in the interest expense line item. Although, maybe since this is a press release maybe they did include some, but I don't think so. We'll find out. I don't really want to say any more about it until we get the audited results, other than that number 142 in today's press release shocked me. Shocked. I knew it wouldn't go down, but to go up that much, my gosh, $23 million. It should get a little better in Q1 because the Fed's been cutting rates. That will kick in for the quarterly interest assessment on January 1st, whatever the rate is. And the rate in Q1, January 1st, is obviously lower than September 1st. October 1st. So we'll get a little bit of reduction on interest for the term loan, which is the biggie. But is it going to be something that you're going to really notice? No, it'll be a few $1 million. Not like we're going to be saving 40, 50 million because interest rates went down a quarter or half a point. And, we'll do our best to estimate Q1 interest once we see all of the details of Q4 and what debt gets restructured and taken out. So, no, I don't think the company's going bankrupt. They have plenty of shares available right now. Box office is supposed to get better. Many times have we heard that starting in Q2, but I believe that. Q2 through Q4 look pretty good. They have plenty of shares. They're a little tight on cash. I think they'll do a cash raise here in a week or so to get them through the speed bump of cash burn that I'm expecting in Q1. And then hopefully, break even or slight profit the rest of the year. But the piper is going to be paid in Q1. This is what we have to suffer through. And there's no red flags that I'm seeing that bankruptcy is imminent. As long as they have access to raise capital, i.e. shares, and as long as they have lenders willing to work with them, it's not going to be bankruptcy. In the long run, box office must improve. You can only run this game so long. How many times can they come back to the till and ask for more shares, right? Box office must improve. HST Gaming says, would you be willing to chat about some of the box office projection for movies like Project Hail Mary, Super Mario, or Hoppers? Yeah, I have done some early projections on every quarter this year already. We can talk about some of that. I think Project Hail Mary and Super Mario obviously are going to do spectacularly globally. And, Mario for sure. Project Hail Mary is getting very good press from what I'm seeing. And I have some preliminary numbers, but the further out it is, the less likely that my numbers are going to be correct. But I have placeholders for most of the big movies. Marilyn Mom says Adam Aaron doesn't know how to make an inviting venue. I mean, I guess it depends on your city, the size of your city, and how old the facility is, Marilyn Mom. Remember, AMC bought up several smaller chains back in 2018, 2019, and a lot of those are older theaters. They were trying to do that roll-up strategy where you take over everybody and become the biggest kid on the block, and they got a lot of crappy locations in those purchases they did. And those are the primary ones that they're shutting down. And also, I think some of you in some of these smaller cities, smaller locations, you may notice that there's very little capital investment going into upkeep of those facilities because AMC knows they're going to be shutting them down. Would be my best guess. So they got to keep, as fast as those leases are over, they have to keep closing locations as the cost burden of the fleet of theaters they have is too high for the current box office. We got two problems. We need to increase box office. We need to cut costs, but they're kind of handcuffed by very long leases. Very long leases for these unique properties. You can't just walk away from a lease. Season Curly's, do you think AMC will sell shares after February 2nd? Yes, I do. I think they will do an ATM for the full $150 million, or they will do a forward agreement like they did a year ago with Goldman. Why do I think that? Why do I say that with such certainty? Do I have a crystal ball? I do not. Here's my take on it, Mr. Curley. AMC, previously to the end of December, you know that they had agreed with the lenders in July that they would not do an ATM more than $50 million for 180 days after the vote that happened on December 8th. Okay, that's fine. We were all pretty happy about that. No dilution, right? 50 million max for 6 months. Sounds good. We can work around that. We can plan our trades around that. But they sprung a surprise on us at the end of December 22nd, if my memory serves me, in which they went to the lenders and said, hey, you know what? We need $150 million and we need it by February 2nd. We need no 6 months, no 50 million. We want 150 million by February 2nd, and we're willing to pay for that privilege. And pay they did. Pay they did. They gave away a lot of our shares for that privilege to bump up the ATM capacity. So I would ask you, if I see people arguing with me on X, they're not going to do 150 million. They don't need the money. Okay, where's your cash flow forecast? Why do you think they don't need the money? Why would they pay such severe penalties giving away our shares at the end of December to bump it up to 150 million if they didn't need it? Either if your theory is correct that they don't need it, then what? They're incompetent? They're working with the criminals? They're just giving away shares out of the goodness of their heart? No, everything happens for a reason. They agreed to give the lenders a 12.5% discount on the exchange rate of the exchangeable notes and agreed to a $6.25 million penalty, also paid in shares. That is a metric ton of additional shares they are giving away to the lenders for the privilege of increasing the ATM capacity to 150 million on or after February 2nd. I don't think that was an accident. I think it would be foolish to just dismiss that and say, it's a just in case, they don't need the money. Then what? You think Sean's incompetent, Sean Goodman? You think he's working with the criminals? Just giving away shares because it sounds cool? So I do. I think they will raise money. And my forecast for Q1 cash burn is that it is likely to be similar to Q1 2025. Probably, I'm hoping, not quite as bad. Q1 2025 free cash flow was negative $417 million. If I'm lucky and correct, it won't be quite that bad, but what if it's 317, 217? We've got 400 million in cash right now, right? 460, 428. So they've got 428 million expected at the end of Q4. I think you could see at least half of that burned in Q1. I hope I'm wrong. But I don't think it's an accident that they sold the Hycroft shares to bring cash on the balance sheet. And I don't think it's just coincidence that they paid a penalty to bump up the ATM to 150 million. I think that was all forecasting Q1 cash flow and cash burn. And they want to make sure they have adequate liquidity to get through Q1 to the point where things start getting better, Q2 and beyond. Mr. Premium said COVID was part of the reason why AMC got saved. Now no more money given out, no stimulus. AMC got nothing. AMC got nothing from the government during COVID. They got nothing except a mandatory shutdown. They got no money given out, no PPP, nothing. They got screwed. Meanwhile, GameStop was allowed to stay open because they were deemed necessary, right? AMC got, all the theater companies got hosed. Why do you think almost all of them filed bankruptcy? It was rough times. Season Curly says, crazy that AMC shares a similar market cap to Pudgy Penguin coin. Is that the PP coin, or is there actually a, PP Seeds, the YouTuber? The guy that thinks his Bed Bath & Beyond stock is coming back? Or is there really a Pudgy Penguin coin? I kind of walked around your other point where you're saying people don't have money to invest. That is true. A lot of people that had their own personal stimulus check, that money's not flowing like it used to. And we have inflation and everything else. So I hear you. Zachary says he's buying all the way down to $1.25. There was over 80% off exchange today. I haven't looked at the off exchange. I don't typically look at it. I know some of y'all are fascinated by it. Look, when you got a ticker that is heavily institutionally traded and a lot of internalization of orders and a lot of retail traders using payment for order flow brokers, you're going to have a high number in off exchange, which includes dark pools. And no doubt AMC's percentages are higher than what we would consider a normal stock. And I used to really be fascinated with watching that every day too. But over time, and swing trading AMC, for example, in 2024 especially, I have learned, and watching it day to day, all of 2025, I've learned that focusing on how much is in the dark pool is just a exercise in paying attention to things that don't matter. I'd much rather spend my time, I'd much rather you spend your time doing a cash flow analysis, reading through a loan document, understanding why the price is being pushed down. They're going to manipulate it. If you want to say that the dark pool is manipulation, you want to ignore institutional trading, internalization, retail traders using payment for order flow, you want to ignore all that and just say it's manipulation? Okay, cool. Why? Why is it being pushed down? The answers are in the balance sheet, the box office, and the loan documents. The answers of why. I'd rather you spend your time asking why, not just pointing at a what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? We have a symptom and we have a result. The dark pool data is just a result. It's not a symptom. The symptom is the balance sheet. The symptom is the box office. The symptom is the cash flow. Spend your time focusing on what matters. Look, I've been in the trenches with you since 2021 on every ticker you can imagine. I've watched literally tens of thousands of people doing this rally cry, naked shorts, off exchange, blah, blah, blah. And I've watched all of them lose all of their money. They're not paying attention to what can help them, save them, make them better traders, better decisions, better timing. So yes, what I'm talking about is not popular, and I'm not talking about the things that you like, which are popular, but I'm trying to talk about things that have wildly improved our trading over here on this channel. I have told the stories, and this is fact, that we had people after the AMC coming back together after the verse split. We had people in the Discord that were down negative 5 or 6 digits, and through working with them using common sense and just letting social media go on AMC, they were able to completely repair their losses. How? The dark pools, the short interest, because they let it all fucking go and started thinking of this like a trade, looking at things that matter, making smart decisions, not echoing rallying cries of shit that doesn't matter. Anya says side effect. Maybe that's the word I was looking for. Symptom and cause. Maybe that's, I forget the analogy, Anya. Zachary says, BTC is doing another liquidity check right now. I looked at it this morning. Let's see up here. 80. Oh my gosh, 82,000. Yikes. Let's see. I haven't looked at gold and silver in a while. They had a little reality check this morning too. Pretty decent recovery, it looks like. This is the big red candle we were looking at on SLV, but it mostly regained all of that. There's been a lot of those big red candles, right? And it's mostly continued its upward trend after a bit of a recovery. And Hycroft ended up down 12% today. It got the dip, but it didn't get the rip back up. So I'm not sure what happened with Hycroft. GameStop today down 3.5%, 22.81. If you watched my GameStop video last night, I do own GameStop. I've been buying for a while, since at least November, and we've been watching this supply and demand zone. I watched it bounce here. I watched it run through on the warrant excitement. It bounced off of this is resistance, right? It bounced off again. I said, if we get into this supply zone again and it doesn't push through, I'm going to unload some of my position. And I did on Monday at $24.32. So, 20% gain for a few month hold. I still have the majority of my position, and I still have warrants. So my shares are at $20.50 cost basis on GameStop. My warrants, I think my cost average on those that I bought is $2.89. And I think, with that cash that I booked selling here at a profit, I'm holding some shares in case there's some other news, great. Run it up, Ryan. But if there is no news, I've got extra cash now booked at a profit. And when it retests the demand zone, that's where I like to buy down here. I'm not a buy every day guy. I'm not a hold forever guy. Long history of swing trading this stock. Last good sell was $33, and then we waited for it to come back down. So back to AMC though. Oh, also Railtown. I put a video out on Railtown AI today. OTC speculative play, Canadian sovereign AI company. They reported their Q4 and full year 2025 results today. I put out a quick video on that. If you're looking for an AI play that is cheap, it's very, very risky, very speculative, pre-revenue, but we're expecting they will report revenue in the next quarter or two. Go check out that video. It is one of my small position spec plays. I always urge you guys to have a diversified portfolio. I don't want you holding all Railtown. I don't want you holding all GameStop. I don't want you holding all AMC. If you want to, it doesn't matter what I want, right? If you want to, then knock yourself out. I'd like to hear all of you say, Tony, just like you, I believe that a diversified portfolio of blue chip stocks with profits and growing revenues and growing earnings is the hallmark of a good diversified portfolio. I don't want a portfolio full of meme stocks and non-revenue plays. I don't want a portfolio of one speculative ticker because I'm tired of losing it all. These plays that I talk about with you guys, the retail plays, are always small allocation plays for me. And I still, in 2021, I made 5 digits on a couple $1,000 investment of AMC. I'm not trying to get $1 million. I'm not trying to become a millionaire off of a super speculative ticker. What I'm trying to do is not lose my effing money. And if I can get an outsized gain because I was smart on the timing and lucky on the volatility, then that's a bonus for my portfolio. Slave King says, I'm surprised more people don't buy GME warrants to swing trade as they have outperformed the stock short term, and they're outperforming the call options too, right? Last time I checked, they're outperforming the October $32 call options. They're holding their value better. We will, on this channel and in the Discord, everybody already knows this, we've talked about it many, many times. We're going to be looking critically at the warrants. What did I say, guys? Around the June timeframe. After July, the time value of those warrants is going to start eroding very quickly. And so it becomes gut check time in June. Do we still have a viable play here? Do we want to risk watching them get ground down to zero while we hope that Ryan has an announcement between July, August, September, October? You're going to get to a point where you have 4 months left and these things are going to be getting driven into the dirt because they have no intrinsic value and the time value is going to get wrung out. Theta decay. So, I'm not going to talk about warrants a lot right now. They're gonna do whatever the stock price does. And I've got some just in case. It's easy leverage. They're cheap. And I only buy enough that, if I'm wrong and I lose the money or I lose half of it, I'm not going to cry about it. But June, we got to make some decisions about what we're going to do. Johnny says AMC will almost certainly go bankrupt. Anyone can see that. What's the, I laid out the why not, Johnny. Let me just ask you, Johnny, you could be right. I'm not saying I'm right, but let me just play devil's advocate for you. And then you can retort. Allow me to retort. If box office is improving in 2026 and 2027 to the point, and let's forget about Q1 for a second, because I think Q1 is going to be bad. If box office is improving to the point where AMC is able to have net income or free cash flow break even, and they have lenders that are willing to work with them to move maturities out, which we have a 5-year demonstrated history of, and the company has shares available to sell should they need a liquidity injection, what is the bankruptcy thesis? you'd have to tell me, I think, if I can answer for you while you're furiously typing, that box office is not going to improve ever. And it's just going to be a slow grind of death for cinema or large companies like AMC. It will never, the box office will never get better. I mean, if that is your answer, that is an opinion that could be correct, might not be correct. People have wildly different expectations about what box office is going to do. I will agree with anyone that says the success of AMC is 100% dependent on the box office. Absolutely, without a doubt. Box office doesn't improve, it's going to be a miserable next 2 or 3 years. I believe it's going to get better. To what degree? Stay tuned. I go to movies. I encourage people to go to movies. I review movies. That's about all I can do. I don't need to buy a stock that is getting ground into the dirt, but I can go see movies. Jet Alaska says, if AMC could somehow make it to 201, I'd make all the money back and break even. $2.01, really? Not sure what to do. Every 1 penny move is around $108 for me. Yeah, let's talk about where is the price going to go? The press release, once Netflix grabs Warner Brothers and movies have a 17-day window, it's over. That's a good point, Kleindropper. I'm not on board with this whole Netflix thing, and I don't trust them about, we're going to respect the theatrical window. That would be a serious red flag for me if Netflix gets Warner Brothers for sure and passes all the regulatory hurdles. Something to think about. We also have the actors and writers contract negotiations going on this year, as if we didn't need one more thing to worry about. Zachary says it's hard for AMC to go bankrupt when they have rabid investors like me. Unfortunately, look, I've been an investor on and off of AMC for a long time. Zachary, I don't happen to own any at the moment, but our purchases help, but the box office is what is driving the problems, and the box office is what can drive the solution. So I need more of you to be going to movies than buying the stock, honestly. You could buy the stock. I can't promise you how well it's going to do if nobody's pushing going to the movies. If the box office stays where it's at, this company's going to keep having losses of $400 to $600 million a year. That is not sustainable, right? We can all agree on that. You can say, but I'm a rabid investor. I'll keep buying as much dilution as they toss out. Why? I mean, you're literally lighting your money on fire. Let's focus on going to movies, fixing the front end, and then the back end investment starts looking a lot better. A reasonable speculative bet. Season Curly says, is box office recession proof? I'm sure you've seen the same studies I have that say yes, it is. I don't know. Part of the problem right now is Hollywood just all right, we're back. Are we back? Zachary says, I go to the box office weekly. Just saw Mercy tonight. It was really good. They fooled me. Yeah, the bad reviews on Mercy. We were intending to go see it this past weekend, but then obviously the snow and ice, there were not one movie theater open all weekend. So we got a little catch up to do this weekend starting tomorrow. Mercy, and there's at least one other movie that we haven't seen yet. Jet says my cost average is currently 201. Okay, yeah, we were going to get back to what is the price likely to do. Is this your first time here, Jet, Alaska? I don't recognize the name. I don't want to repeat stuff you've already heard. Lacrosse says box office will be just fine. Pray to the gods, both old and new. John says we can always sell the GameStop warrants on the run up. Yeah, I'm kind of looking like if it doesn't run where we want it to, John, 450. I'd take a momentary spike to 450 on the warrants. The GameStop warrants. Jet says first time here in a live stream, but I've been following you for a while. So you probably know we were worried about the price getting walked down due to the 154 million of exchangeable notes. There's a VWAP measurement period, and there's a collar on the exchange rate between $1.50 and $2.75. It's a VWAP average, and that VWAP measurement period began the day after the vote in December. I was assuming it was going to be about a month. They didn't tell us. Every other VWAP measurement period, do you notice they tell us, 30 days, 60 days. The one that began after the shareholder vote, multiple filings, they have not told us the end date. But let's just say it was 30 days. My theory was they would walk the price down as close to 250 as they could. They being the lenders, sell, short, lock in your profit, drive the price down to the bottom of the collar, get the most shares possible. By driving the price down, they get more shares. And then you can, when you get the delivery of shares, you can close your short. And they are going to be getting, in my estimation, over 100 million shares. Figure it's $154 million divided by $1.50 plus a 12.5% discount plus a $6.25 million consent fee. They're going to be getting over 100 million shares. So they're not worried. I see the short interest skyrocketing on AMC. I've reported on it. But I don't think anybody that is short is worried about it. 111, I mean, so what? 60 million of those are lenders that are shorting because they know they're about to get 100 million shares. They're just taking care of themselves. Drive the price down to the bottom of the collar. Get the most shares possible. They don't care. They're worried about number one. AMC will be fine. They're going to raise money in Q1, and then box office gets better. The lenders are worried about making sure they deliver value to their stakeholders. They got in this distressed debt to make a profit, and God damn it, they're going to make a profit. That's what I'm talking about, understanding motivations. Understanding motivations. These are hedge funds, not Bank of America or Goldman. These are hedge funds, Discovery Capital and Pentwater, that are giving the loans to AMC for these exchangeable notes. These are sharks. They're sharks. They're worried about number one. So, was it 30 days, the VWAP period? Was it over on January 9th? We saw the price spike. I was thinking to myself, maybe it's over. The price ran up starting around January 9th, 30 days. What do you know? And then now it's cratering again. We have no filings. We don't know if they aren't required to file when the VWAP period is over. I do believe there is a requirement to file if notes were exchanged, but I also would expect that if it was 30-day VWAP measurement period and the notes were exchanged on January 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, we should have had a filing by now. So maybe the VWAP period's not over. Maybe they didn't exchange. Maybe I'm just completely wrong. There's so many maybes. But since the price is still following our general due diligence expectation, I think maybe we got one ingredient wrong. Maybe there's no filing requirement. Maybe the VWAP period's not over. Maybe they haven't exchanged yet. There's a lot of maybes. All I can do is wait for official word for the company and continue to not try and catch a falling knife. Now we have some additional VWAP measurement periods with new collars. There was even a new one in today's notice about the restructuring the agreement with the 2029 lenders to refinance the debt. There's a new VWAP collar for the penalty they're paying for that. Does it talk about it here? It talks about it here, I think. It basically says that AMC is agreeing to pay, here's another penalty, $19 million penalty for the privilege of being able to push out their debt. Adam Aaron will say, we have lenders that, believe in our future and, they want to work with us. Yeah, we'll work with you, Adam, for a price. And that price today is $19 million payable in shares. And that exchange rate on those shares will be an average of the daily VWAP over a 30-day measurement period with a collar between $1.25 and $1.95. So now what? They have an incentive on a new collar to drive the price down to $1.25. Or maybe they're just worried about the price being driven down because of an upcoming ATM announcement. I don't know, but here's our new bottom number. And if you're in my Discord, you already know we've been talking about this number for a month before today, before today's news. We've been talking about $1.20. Now we got it in writing that the bottom of the new collar for this $19 million penalty, the exchange rate collar bottom is $1.25. The top of the collar is $1.95. That is the price that you divide this amount by to determine how many shares AMC must give the lenders as a penalty. I'm using very specific words because that's how I view it. It's a consent premium, if you want to use the nice financial term. The lenders consent to allow AMC to change the debt, restructure it for a premium, for a price, a penalty of $19 million. So you're asking me, could it go back over $2? I don't know. We got a collar here between $1.25 and $1.95. That doesn't necessarily mean anything about what the price action is going to do. And I know the absolute bullest of bulls are yelling at the screen, Tony, talk about the Adam Aaron promise for January, February, MNPI, material non-public information. What about that, Tony? You don't know about that bomb he's about to drop and catch all of the shorts off guard. You're exactly right. I don't know. And because it is speculation, I don't talk about it. I don't plan to it. It's something, if you want to hold that out there as a possibility, I would never argue with you. It's a possibility. Of course, Adam said there is potential for an announcement in January or February, exciting news not related to sports. if we're able to get it done. So, I mean, there's a lot of unknowns there for me. I can't make any trading plans for myself based on that. If you want to, do your thing. Do your thing. And I wish you luck. 30 calendar days, I think, is the VWAP measurement period. Zachary, let's see what it says. 30 consecutive trading days. Yeah. Beginning January 29th. So yeah, count out your 30 consecutive trading days. A little bit more than a month. Baby says $4 billion in debt and Adam has 400 million shares now. By my rough guess, guys, if I just think about the 154 million in exchangeable notes, which I think will be exchanged from July, we're in the VWAP period now. Those are going to be exchanged. That's 100 million shares. If I think about a 150 million ATM after February 2nd, there's another 100 million shares. That's 200 shares out the door in Q1. Now add in all your consent fees that the company's agreed to. There's another, 50 million shares over the various documents since July. The July documents had a consent fee. December 22nd had a consent fee. This one has a consent fee. There's another 50 million shares. So now what? They've got 300 million shares left, baby, by the end of Q1, I think. Remember, my DD is not talking about what's happening today, tomorrow, this week. I'm trying to game out through probably April what I think is going to happen so that I don't rush in too soon. The number one things that would upset my silly little due diligence would be Roaring Kitty come back or Adam Aaron have some stupendous MNPI announcement that just lights this thing on fire. I hope he does. I hope he does. Yeah, I hope Keith Gill comes back or GameStop soars up or Adam has some secret news. I hope so. If I see that, I will jump on the minute I see the chart. I have my alerts set. I'm up every day at 4 or 5 in the morning. I'm not going to miss anything. But what I will not do is watch my portfolio melt away every day, hoping Adam has a MNPI. I will not do that. I will wait for the news. I have multiple alerts. I'm watching the damn stock market all the time. I'm not going to miss any run-up. Don't worry about me. Tony, you just don't understand. You're going to miss it. No, I'm not going to miss it. I haven't missed one of them yet, guys. The only one I missed was in January of 2021, GameStop, because I was not paying attention. I haven't missed any of the run-ups since then. Not in GameStop, not in AMC. John says, how much could Adam have earned for AMC if he'd kept the high cross shares till now? I don't know. I mean, a lot more clearly. It is my best guess. And I've had even independently bond traders that I talk to just send me their thoughts unsolicited much later after I said this in Discord. So it was interesting to me that multiple people, self included, are coming to the same conclusion. And this is just a guess. I believe that AMC needed the cash from the sale of Hycroft to bolster the balance sheet going into Q1 cash burn. However, I've said in Discord, and now I've had some bond portfolio managers independently, just send me over a message. People that I talk to for questions on understanding how bond traders think, saying that it is very likely that the lenders that AMC was negotiating with in December to increase the ATM capacity probably expressed some concern about the cash balance of the company, and that in some manner forced AMC to bolster the cash. It forced a partial sale of the Hycroft shares. Because I don't think that Adam or Sean purposely are trying to tank the company. I don't think that. I realize a lot of people do. That's fine. I'm not going to argue with anyone. I always look for logical answers before conspiratorial ones. And you're going to decide whatever you decide based on your own personal bias, and you and I are never going to agree. Because some people have already decided that Adam Aron and Sean Goodman and AMC are all evil, and there's no logic, no math behind anything they do. Meanwhile, I keep on showing you the logic and math every day for years. There's a logical explanation for many things. You have to be willing to entertain that a logical, mathematical, or lender pressure DD might be one of the potential reasons. I mean, in the world of possibilities, look, I'll say your possibility could be correct, but you should be able to say my possibility might be correct too. I think that is, if you're able to say, oh yeah, I see what you're talking about. I don't know which one it is, but it could be that, or it could be they all just suck. All right, we can agree to we can agree to agree on that. If you can say, I see both possibilities, I'm going to go with the one I like, then hey, we can still be friends. Jason, dude, I don't think management is trying to tank the company. I think they're just stuck in a bad situation and often have to make decisions that are not fun, palatable, or beneficial to common, but it's cash flow and timing related. Jason says Wuthering Heights on Valentine's Day is going to be a blockbuster. I believe that. Yes, I think Wuthering Heights will be good. What do I have? What numbers do you have for Wuthering Heights? Q1 2026. I didn't update this on Monday, but I have it around $100 million domestic. Do you think are numbers coming in that it's going to be better than that? I mean, that's pretty good considering what we've had with, look at all these releases in January. They all sucked other than Avatar carryover. We've had jack crap. Wuthering Heights, we have GOAT, we have Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. We're going to go see Mercy and Send Help this weekend. That is my commitment. We got Scream 7. I have that at 70 million. These are domestic numbers. Hoppers, I don't really know. I have it at 125 million. The Bride, 50 million. Reminders of Him. I'm not sure why I have it at 75 million, but that was my research at the time that I updated this a couple weeks ago. Project Hail Mary, I have at 150 million. The excitement could build beyond these numbers. Someone said my Pout Pout Fish numbers were too high. So yeah, these are the wide releases. I have at about 1.55 billion. Obviously, I'd love any of these numbers to beat. And then we need to add in some extra slop for limited release. So I'm going to say like 1.75 Q1. I'm thinking. And hopefully it's better than that. Let's look and see really quick at how the Q4 numbers stacked up. So here was my Q4. I put out a video January 1st with my low, medium, high, depending on percentage of box office that AMC captured, what the revenue and earnings would be. And I said I was going to go with the middle, but the actual results came in closer to the high, which is good. I'd rather be wrong by being too conservative and then be surprised to the upside than overpromise something to you guys and then, oh, you told us it was going to be 1.4 billion and it only came in at 1.3. You know, I overpromise. No, underpromise, overdeliver. It's better to be wrong to the downside, in my opinion. Total revenues for the 3 months between 1.28 and 1.3. And if we look at this, I still would be a little bit low, which is cool. So whatever the numbers are, I will go in. Some of these estimates are driven by formulas that I have created. And sometimes I need to tweak them if things are getting better, like food and beverage or average food and bev per patron. If those are continuing to march up or costs are changing, then sometimes I need to tweak the formulas. It's not trying to get it perfect. It's trying to get it close. So 1.267 is close to 1.288. Net loss to be 127 million. My spreadsheet says that on that number, it would be 123 million. So I'm within a couple $1 million. I mean, for just some dumb YouTuber, if you can get within $4 million on an estimate, I think that's pretty good. I made this spreadsheet myself. Adjusted EBITDA, I don't try and calculate that, and I can't calculate cash and cash equivalents, but of this 428 million, that was an increase from last quarter of 365. So what is that? $60 million. And AMC made what, about 23 million from selling Hycroft. So they booked about 40 million from operations in Q4. And there are bills, accounts payable that go with that will be due in Q1. And that's why I'm worried about the piper being paid in Q1. But we'll see. We'll see. I'd rather you be prepared for a cash burn than not in Q1. There will be a cash burn. How bad the damage is, I don't know. Let's see how good Q1 goes. The better Q1 box office is, the less we have to worry about that. What else did they tell us here? Full year, okay, total revenues between 4.8 and 4 to be approximately 4.8. So what did my spreadsheet say for the year? 4.8. 4.8 what? 4.848. And I have 4.746. So I was off by 100 million. So I will need to go in, and this is probably need to tweak this number up a little bit. A percentage of box office. That's an easy change. 30.5. I noticed that the impairment of long-lived assets was a little lower than I had forecast, which is good. That's down here in 43 million. What did I forecast? Oh, I forecast 42. Okay, I was off by $1 million. And every year you can see the number is different. So I just kind of guess based on the rate of decline on that impairment. I guess this year it was going to be 42 million. And it is going to be 43. So close enough for government work. Net loss for the year to be approximately $632 million. My spreadsheet said in column G here, $630 million. How about that? I mean, $2 million off. I did bump up this number to 30.5% just now. But it just shows you that if the spreadsheet has the right assumptions, the output is very close to what the reality is. It's all down to what are your assumptions? And we just do our best guesswork. Is it 30%? Is it 30.5%? Oops, not that. 30.5. It's just to get us in the ballpark, give us an idea what's going to happen. The true myth says to say there will be no reverse split and then call people dumb that don't want a reverse split, then do a reverse split, is a terrible thing to do to millions of people that kept your business open. I'm assuming we're talking about Adam Aaron. I mean, there was a reverse split. They didn't have much choice. They needed to raise money, and there could very well be another one. And if there is, it is because they need to raise money, and you should plan accordingly. I don't know if there's going to be another reverse split. One has not been proposed, but I would not rule it out. Lift the 9950 says, do you ever look at the chart and technical indicators? Every day, my friend. Every day. Yep. Depends, on the ticker and the time frame that I'm investing on. I've got a chart for day trading where I use quicker indicators like the EMA 9, EMA 20. I have other charts where I'm looking at longer trends where I start off by looking at supply and demand zone or support and resistance, and then I look at other indicators, including what I have here on the AMC chart, is the moving average for the 50 and 200. Volume obviously matters. I might every now and then look at things like RSI or MACD. Sometimes Bollinger Bands. That's pretty much it. But I mean, for the most part, just to get a rough idea of what's going on, this is generally enough. The long-term moving averages, volume, and where are the most recent supply and demand zones, which I draw these on here. There's different ways you can draw these. There's no right or wrong. You could have different supply and demand zones than me, but I try and pick ones that have been fairly well respected, like this one on GameStop. And then I use those for buy and sell alerts to make a decision. What do I do? Do I hope it runs through it on the upside, or hope it doesn't run through it to the downside if we're looking at a demand zone? A lot of that depends on sometimes what's going on with the other technical indicators. What I don't do is look at the chart, try and find some pattern from 3 years ago, flip it, smack it, turn it around, and then paste it on top of next week. I don't do algorithmic trading predictions. I have found personally those not to be very useful. What I look at works for me. Not to throw shade on anybody. I mean, if it's working for them, then great. I have generally found most people that talk about that stuff don't get it right consistently enough. Seasoned Curly's says, seems as though the Q1 cash burn, upcoming dilution, debt issues, etc., were all pretty clearly coming, so these things would be priced in. Yes, it was my expectation that they would begin to get priced in after the December vote. And I think we're still seeing that. We're still seeing that. Anya says people are being bribed to go see Melania. I voted for Trump, Anya, you know that. But I don't plan on going to see the Melania movie. It's the movie no one asked for. Clark Barwick, howdy to you, sir. To you and your wife, Julie. Hope y'all are doing well. Tomorrow is his 60th birthday. Happy birthday to you, Clark. I give you a little cheers here as we finish the cerveza of the day. Baby says, I'm going to go see Melania for sure. I mean, if I had nothing else going on, I would go see it. But I want to go see those other two that I told you about. Mercy and whatever that other one was. We've done a pretty good job of hitting every movie this year so far. And dragging Scarlett's dad to some of them with us. I'm doing all I can. I'm doing all I can to go see movies and help everybody out. Send Help. Oh, that's one that I want to see for sure. Iron Lung. God dang, man, we're gonna have a busy weekend. Send Help, Iron Lung, Mercy. I don't know about Shelter. That's Jason Statham. I know my wife will want to see that one. Return to Silent Hill. That's going to be at the end of my list. Paris Hilton. What? 1, 2, 3. At least 3 movies I got to try and fit in this weekend. The True Myth says, Tony, would you say the true issue of all this is the large debt? The true issue is lack of box office. Now, when you layer lack of box office caused by COVID and viewer habits changing and studios shutting down production and actors and writers strike, when you add the cumulative effect of all of those negative things that have impacted the quantity of movies in the box office, when you add that cumulative effect as a layer on top of high debt, those two things don't work well together. And AMC is stuck because they can't close locations fast enough. You can go look, like at a GameStop, how many leases come up for renewal every year and how short their leases are. They tell you in every 10K. They can shut down 30% of their stores in a year. Must be nice to be able to Thanos snap your expenses out of existence. AMC's looking at what? 10, 11, 12, 15-year leases with the average duration remaining average 7 or 8 years. They can't Thanos snap their expenses away. So they are stuck. And yeah, you could say that was a bad decision, taking on all that debt, trying to attempt a roll-up strategy in 2018, 2019. You could say that, but they didn't know what was going to happen in 2020. They were making a gamble, a leveraged bet, and it did not work out, and now they're paying the price. Leveraged roll-ups do not work out well when your revenue goes to zero. What is the funniest movie I have ever seen? I don't know, probably any number of Monty Python movies. You can throw out some really funny movies that you like. Clark says, Julie and I are still holding all our original AMC shares. God bless you, Clark, and good luck. You know, I only wish the best for you guys. You and I have been talking here on YouTube for many, many years. And I know there's been times where you don't like me, right, Clark? At least you don't like what I'm saying. But I think that if you guys can be patient with me, you will see I'm trying to tell you truthful things that are going to happen so that you can prepare. You can get mad at it when I tell you, but come back and see, was I right or not? Mouthy Martinez says, Tony, I would like your opinion. I feel people who talk about stocks should show their position in said stock. I mean, I talk about a lot of stocks I don't own, Mouthy Martinez, as do almost all reporters on TV. So no, I don't agree with you. Baby UFO says, I'd crawl a mile through broken glass for a good woman. Mr. Martinez, the other thing that I see is a lot of small dick people trying to wave around their portfolio like they have a big dick. Look at all my GameStop shares. Nobody fucking cares. You're not going to convince me to buy GameStop because you went all in. I'm just going to look at you and say, well, you have no idea how to properly diversify a portfolio. I don't want to be swaying anybody's decision because of whatever size position I have in a stock. You should do your own DD and buy whatever you think is appropriate for your risk, assessment. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. Judge me on my due diligence. Judge me on how correct am I in analyzing the stock and telling you what is likely to happen. Judging someone on what size position they have it's a bunch of, it's to me very childish behavior. I'm here to deal with the adults in the room. Talladega Nights, Baby UFO. Yes, we love that one. That's like a movie. Anytime it is on, always stop and watch it. I drive my wife crazy because half my life I live by quoting funny movie quotes. I want to go fast. I want to go fast. I want to go fast. Mouthy Martinez says February 2nd or so, AA will sell those 150 million. Price will hover around $1. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's possible it could go to $1 and he might have to do a reverse split. But it also depends on, does he do the full 150 million? I think yes. And what happens with the box office after that? And does he have any secret MNPI? I don't know. It's not one of my talking points. I like to bring it up because people think I'm being too negative if I don't bring up MNPI. It's not my talking point. Adam said it. Let him deliver. I don't want to be responsible for telling you something's going to happen when I sure don't know. Clark says, you do speak the truth, and that's why I'm here. Well, I appreciate that you recognize that, Clark. There's a lot of people that say I don't speak the truth. Sometimes I get stuff wrong. Look, there was a time, I was right there with you guys in meme stock land in 2021 where we didn't look at financials on meme stocks not one single time. Right? Because why would we care? These companies had billions of fresh cash and lots of retail investor excitement and high short interest, and we thought we had them by the balls. But then time goes on, cash goes off the balance sheet, shares get used up, and guess what? You need to start paying attention to the financials. So I had to shift my coverage to cover it like any other stock that I would analyze. And that became very unpopular. But it has not been incorrect. It's been truthful. It's been correct. It's been painful. I get it. It's not fun to hear. My cousin Vinny, the two Utes, Your Honor. The what? The two Utes. I love that one. Michael says, why is anyone worried about your buys and sells? There's a bunch of clowns on the other channels that if you can't show your position, you shouldn't talk about this stock. I got it. I got my position tattooed on my arm. See, it says 51. I'm honest. I told people for 4 years that I own 51 shares. But now today I decided to tell them I own 2,000, and you better tell me how many you own. Do you guys see the fucking clown shows that go on? The duplicitousness of these retards? Telling everybody for 4 years they own 51 shares, and magically one day they get fired from their job, liquidate their 401k, take all of the tax penalty of that, buy GameStop shares. Oh, now I have 2,000 shares. I'm going to show everybody, and I'm going to tell everyone else, you better show yours because I finally have enough to talk about. It is pathetic. It's sad. It's childish. It's clown-like. It's little dick men walking in and trying to act like they got a big dick. I don't have time for that clownish kindergarten nonsense. We are here for the adults in the room. Clark says, one of the qualities of a leader is speaking the truth no matter what the cost. I do my best, Clark. And again, as I said, sometimes I get things wrong. And if I get things wrong, we deal with it in the moment. Nobody gets everything right. Nobody gets everything right. I do my best. I'm here willing to lay out my opinions and take your arrows in the back every day, all day. I get a lot of arrows thrown at me. My goal is to be right far more than I am wrong. I don't think being perfect is a reasonable goal. Nobody is able to be perfect. In the stock market anyway. C12 Omega says you and your wife should check out a romantic comedy like the 1999 film Love Stinks on Tubi. That movie sounds familiar. I can't remember if we've seen it. She loves the rom-com C12. I'm going to just pull it up on Google here real quick and see who stars in it. Love Stinks. Joe Rowe says, when I sold my AMC for a loss at 520, I thought I would regret it. Now I'm very grateful. Yeah. I hear you. People told me I was crazy when I sold in November of 2024. Longtime viewers. Tony, you don't understand. You don't understand. I laid out my cash flow forecast and why I was exiting the trade. I did understand. You just didn't like my DD, and that's fine. After meeting interior decorator Chelsea Turner at the wedding of their mutual friends, sitcom writer Seth Winnick spends the night with her. I don't think that we have seen that one, so I'm going to take a screenshot of it. And next time she asks me for a movie to watch tonight, which is just about every night, I'll have one to recommend to her. Thank you. Fargo, I've been wanting to rewatch Fargo, and I don't think that my wife has seen it. And season 1 and 5. Oh, I thought you meant the movie. I don't know. Anya, you're talking about the movie, and C12's talking about season 1 and season 5. The movie I would not call a comedy, right? It's not really a comedy. Kind of a crime drama. A little bit of comedy in it, but... Mouthy Martinez says, how do you know all of this information about another YouTuber? Do you watch... I mean, I don't need to watch them often because they talk about me in literally every live stream. I appreciate the free advertisement, though. C12 Omega says, the series is a good season 1, had an all-star cast, Billy Bob Thornton. Okay, that one I would be interested in. Lift the 9950 says, I don't like what you're saying, but I'm listening because I need unbiased info. Yeah, I don't blame you for not liking it. I get it. And come back in April and see how correct we were. Or not. I will take all the jabs and make fun of me all you want if we are not correct about what is about to happen in the next 60 days. But don't ever make the mistake when I make a video with sharing DD and predictions to come back tomorrow and say, it's up 2% today. You were wrong. I'm not talking about today or tomorrow or this week. I'm planning out a quarter. You got to let things play out. Lift the 9950 says he plainly states he doesn't own any AMC. Yeah, I do not own any AMC. I say that in just about every video. Haven't owned AMC since November of 2024, where I sold right here. I had been buying a bunch in the low fours, and I got out on November 7th at pretty much break even. I had some good trades in AMC earlier in the year. I made almost 1,000% in this run up between shares and call options and selling covered calls. But my DD said that the price was going to go down and they were going to do an offering, and they did. So I got out 30 days before that and the price cratered. So I've been talking about why I'm not rebuying for 14 months, every video, every live stream. It's not a secret about my AMC position. I have none. And I am very clear with you guys why and what I am waiting on. And I don't short. I want the damn thing to recover, but I'm not going to watch my portfolio get eroded when my DD is telling me they're going to keep diluting because they have a need for cash and they're trying to fix the balance sheet. Lift the 9950 says, can you give us a 30-second breakdown of your take before you leave? Yeah, I do need to wrap up here in the next 10 minutes. My overview of today's announcement is the good news is their 2029 lenders are willing to work with AMC. They agreed to allow AMC to restructure the 2027 debt and the term loans and move out the maturities. That is good. We have the 2029 lenders willing to make some concessions to allow the company to survive till better days, right? That's good. The bad news of that is AMC's paying a stiff penalty, almost $19 million for that privilege of restructuring the debt. Nothing comes for free. So good news, bad news. Q4 results published today, pretty much what we were expecting, a little better than what I was expecting, which is good. Doesn't change my view that Q1 will have a cash burn. Does not change my view that because of the expected cash burn in Q1, they will do the full ATM of $150 million. And we just need to suffer through Q1 into a better box office for the rest of the year, starting in Q2. So what I'm kind of mentally targeting, if everything I'm guessing based on reading the files is correct, is there might be an optimal entry for me to take a very risky swing trade after. If there's a dilution announcement in February, then I'd want to wait for the price to get ground down from that. If it does, I will observe. Maybe it stays flat, right? But the chances are it could get ground down a little bit more. So if it does, when I see that it finally bottoms out or the company releases some news that the cash raise is done, you could go back and look at December through April of last year for what that looks like. When I can detect that it is done, then maybe that's a good time to come in for me, who is very risk averse in this trade, because this is a super risky trade right now. Maybe that's a good time for me to take a spec trade on it, but not yet. I want to know about the exchangeable notes. I want to know about the ATM. And then, yes, those of you that are worried about a reverse split, look, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. It's okay to be worried about it. We don't have any reverse split proposed. We'll have to see what happens in the next 60 days. That's why I think you should Not get overconfident. If you're bullish, don't get overconfident about what is going to happen in the next 60 days. I know there are people telling you, just wait till Q2, everything's going to be great. Yeah, the box office will be better, but they will not talk about what might happen in the next 60 days. It is the third fucking rail to these people. They're cowards. They hide from honest discussion. Every single one of them have blocked me, even though, I was friends with some of these people, like KC Shaw blocked me because he didn't like my DD. But who was right, KC? And the list is very long. There's only a few people that I actually respect left in this trade. And they're the ones that, even if they don't agree with me, they have discussions with me. They don't block. It's very sad to see who these supposed leaders are of this community who are too fucking scared to have real conversations with people because, his DD might be different than mine. How the fuck do you think people are going to learn if you can't have an honest debate, honest discussion about the finer points of a filing or a cash flow statement? Did Roaring Kitty block people? No, he encouraged dialogue with the bears. He would say, hey, try and poke holes in this. Let me know what you got. These people blocking everyone for a different opinion. I'm not, look, block negativity, doxing, assholes, nothing meaningful to say. Block them, yes. Nobody wants to deal with negative people. But those of us that are here trying to have meaningful due diligence talk, if you're blocking those people, it's a very big sign of weakness and cowardice to me. Clark says he got blocked by KC Shaw. I know. I mean, Clark, at some point we got to step back and say, fuck, man, what I thought is not really working out. I wonder if maybe I should have considered an alternate due diligence point. Perhaps my analysis was incorrect. I do that every single day in every ticker. Is it going the way that I want? Is it not? If it's not going the way that I want, what could I possibly have missed? Do you think I go check the dark pools? No, I'm not checking the dark pools. Not checking how many shares traded off exchange. I'm not seeing who tweeted about naked shorts. I'm like, what did I miss in the financials or the revenue or earnings forecast? What did I miss that somebody smarter than me on Wall Street knows? Why is this price going down? What did I fucking miss? That's how I spend my time. I will drive myself crazy trying to figure out what did I miss. I don't drive myself crazy saying, I'm right, and all of y'all are going to pay for it one day. Even though I'm down 99%, you're going to pay. No, I'm wise enough to know that I was probably wrong somewhere, and I better reevaluate my DD. Step back, reevaluate. Perhaps I made an error. Let me try and approach this fresh from a different perspective. Miss Sang says, has AA not ever thought about his stock options when the price is going this south and will have a reverse split? Who's KC Shaw? He is an old YouTuber that eventually had to stop doing YouTube. That was a very strong believer in AMC, and he even lives in my town. I thought we were friends. He's a nice guy. But the moment that my due diligence changed around the AMC APE conversion, and I showed him math in a spreadsheet that said, KC, I told him this, KC, you're telling your audience to only hold AMC and that they're going to be fine after the reverse split. I showed him the math of how his audience was going to be decimated. And he said, no, Tony, you're wrong. And then he blocked me, and I've never talked to him again. And we were exactly right. We were exactly right. Like, I don't get it. Why are these people so scared of having honest discussion based on math? I had a fucking spreadsheet walking through 6 different scenarios to be as fair as possible. Zach says, if everyone sold, I don't see how the shorts wouldn't have won in that scenario. I mean, that's a fair argument, Zachary. And the people that don't want to sell, you become cannon fodder, and God bless you. I have a family to take care of. I have bills to pay. I'm not willing to lose 99% of my money for any company. I'm just not. I will support the company when I think there is a reasonable risk, right? I'm not going to take a blind risk. I'm not going to take a risk where the house has the edge. The house is not us, guys. When I can walk in the casino and think, based on my DD, based on the cash flow forecast, based on the fact that the dilution is now done and the box office is about to turn, I might have a slight edge. Then I'll put a little money on the table. I don't need to be the cannon fodder. And I'm sorry, this is not a team sport. Clark says, I have made sane, sober, rational judgments about your DD, and what I have come up with is you are always right. Not always, Clark, but I appreciate the vote of confidence. Not always. I do my best. If I think I'm going to be wrong about something, Clark, I will just not say anything. I'd rather have no opinion on a topic. If I'm telling you something, I'm reasonably sure I'm going to be correct. Like 90%. Yashua says, I block short and distorters. Yeah, I mean, I block people too, Yashua. You guys, you've seen some of the commenters in my videos and people I deal with on X. I field a lot of questions from people who don't like tickers or companies that I cover, whether I own the stock or not. They just get offended that I have it in the title of a tweet or a video. And I will field whatever questions or negativity they have if it is constructive conversation. If they just put a clown emoji or they say this company is going bankrupt, but they don't have any meaningful analysis, I'll give them a couple of chances normally. But if it's just trolling, I don't really want to deal with children, especially people that are grown men with a child's brain. I don't want to deal with it. I'm here to actually have a community, build a community of people like-minded with me that are trying to do the best honest DD they can to make money, to not lose money, to have a good profitable portfolio, maybe a little bit of fun speculating on some shitty stocks. I like doing it. Like if I get the right gamble on GameStop or AMC, that saves me a trip from having to go to Vegas. It's much more convenient just to do it here from my house, but I got to know that I have an edge. I got to have a reasonable belief that I have an edge. Anya says it is the behavioral analysis you talked about in the Discord. I've been very much a observer of investor psychology over the last 5 years, Anya, and I have learned so much. We really should write a book on confirmation bias and meme stock land. There are just so many people that are not willing to consider any other opinion. And once they've made up their mind, doesn't matter how much data, facts, financials, or math you show them, they will not change their mind. They'll just block you. I don't want to talk about it. You're blocked. Doesn't matter if you're right. I will never come back to you. You're just blocked. And I will take my lumps and go off into the sunset. That's what they do. They take their lumps and go off in the sunset and they never come back. And that's a shame. I don't want to see that happen to anyone. I'll always keep the dialogue open with you guys as long as you are able to have a conversation like an adult and you don't need to agree with me. Lyft, the 9950 says, I'm never all in on any position. That is some of the best advice ever right there. Diversification. And I see this insidious, evil behavior from many pumpers on YouTube telling people diversification is dumb. If I hear that, someone say diversification is done, I only own one stock, I want that to be a red alarm in your head that this guy probably there's something wrong with him. You hear someone saying that, there is something wrong with them. They don't know how to observe, categorize, or manage risk. And if that's them, that's fine. But they are teaching a whole army of people that non-diversification is fine. And that really does not sit well with me. The people that are teaching that. It is dangerous. It could be and has been ruinous for many people. Paul Love, how you doing? Just jumped in. What did I miss? Is it all over for AMC? No, I don't think it's all over. But the live stream is now all over. We got a couple months to suffer through. We got a couple more corporate actions that I think are coming. If I'm right. And I'm kind of just thinking back of the envelope. I don't know where the price is going to go. I've already told my Discord a number that is lower than where we're at right now. It could go lower than I'm thinking. Doesn't matter what the number is. I'm not in the trade. I know what's going on, why they're shorting it. I am reasonably sure what the next two corporate actions we're going to hear about are going to be. And for me, if I'm correct, I just follow my DD. I don't ask you to do it. Just here talking and sharing. If my DD is correct, that tells me I need to wait until the two things I'm watching are done. And then maybe I get a chance to come in long on a spec trade. And we don't have to worry about any more ATMs for 180 days because they have that one shot, right? They have 150 million cap until June. Baby says avoiding Chapter 11 will be a miracle. I'm not worried about Chapter 11. I mean, look, to recap on that one more time, they have lenders that are willing to work with them. They got the maturities of the 20. They will get the maturities pushed out. That was part of today's announcement. They have enough shares to manage liquidity concerns through Q1. And then it's going to be painful. Q1 is going to be painful in the number of shares that they have to push out. But then hopefully things get better after that. I can't make you any promises, but that is my current belief. I don't mean better like we're going to be raking in hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, break even would be cool with me. I just want to see the dilution to cover liquidity needs. I want to see that stop. Zach says GameStop CEO says he's eyeing major public company acquisition. That would be cool with me. I haven't seen that news, but that would be cool with me. I'm going to go try and find that after we hang up here. Does that kind of answer your question, baby? If the company has ability to raise cash and it has lenders that are willing to work with them, Chapter 11 is not a certainty, but I mean, I'm never going to say it is impossible. As long as the company's willing to fight and people are willing to hand them money, they can avoid it. But that doesn't mean that it's going to go well for common. You know what I mean? Price is up on GameStop. All right, let's go. 583, 5.83%. Beautiful. $24.16. Oh, night. I need to turn on night. There we go. Love it. As I've talked with people on LinkedIn and Discord about, be careful about the extended hours price action, because, you know, the market loves to whack it down once the normal trading starts. But if there is real news behind this, look, I've told you guys for many months, I think Ryan Cohen wants to do the right thing with that cash, and that is the number one reason that I'm invested in GameStop, is for him to properly use that cash. So if he's finding something that he's interested in, that is beautiful. It dovetails right in to the one reason that I am long GameStop right now. I'd love to hear more about that. All right, guys, I got to go check on the wife and see if I can talk her into seeing 3 movies this weekend. She's off till Sunday night, so we have Friday and Saturday. I don't know how we'll get it all done. If you're in the Discord or a member of the channel, you already know there is a special announcement. You've already known this for some time. For the rest of you, check Twitter and the community tab tomorrow at some point for some special news. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. We love you. See you on the next one.
We've been waiting for so long, edgy rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, got hold our ground. Edgy days are dead and gone, but the short we're going long. Let deep down and sit and stare, if you love it by yourself. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, got hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, heavy rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, got hold our ground. Edgy days are dead and gone, but the short we're going long. If deep down and sit and stare, if you love it by yourself. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, got hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, heavy rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, got hold our ground. Many days are dead and gone, but the short we're going long. If deep down and sit and stare, if you love it by yourself. Green candle up and red candle down, by the dip, got hold our ground. Edgy days are dead and gone, keep the flash so strong. If you down and sit and stare, if you love it, show you care. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, got hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, heavy rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip,